They can't even eye test bloody Lando Norris and Checo Perez when both of them full start. My son is 5, chaps. He can do that. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Shakedown podcast. With me, as always, my brethren, my colleague, the legend that is Sir Baxty, and a special guest in Nasha Sakatukwa of Quick Stop F1. How are we doing, fellas? It doesn't matter how you are doing because there are very many F1 centric threads at which we need to pull. Nasha, we saw a McLaren, an MCL 38 on track today. The first car that we've seen of 2025. Of that, sir, you react how?
Wow, just straight into it. No foreplay. Wow, fair play. No, I love that. I love that. Not around. Nash, you see some new cars out there? Yeah, I have seen the camo McLaren today, and from my technical expertise, looking at it with my engineering eye, I've put the lines on it, I've put it on my little squared paper, and I've deducted that car's going to be top 5 on the grid this year, no doubt. Let's
go. To that, Sir Baxty, you react how?
Yeah, sure. It has 4 wheels on it. I will say their race suits, those like sort of all black race suits did not look good. They look like ill-fitting bike overalls.
Did not look good. Have you seen Red Bulls, Baxty? Bloody Nora. I thought
so it was a one-off, like, because we're doing the whole camo livery thing, we're just gonna have an all black race suit, and like it's like, just do what Mercedes did. This just looks like you're wearing bike overalls, and it looks a bit like
fair. Valid critique.
Yeah, Red Bull's gear looks horrible, doesn't it?
Oh, I mean, God.
What are they playing at? How very dare
Mercedes have got the best team gear kind of by default this year. It's just like,
I mean, that Adidas is hard.
Is it really?
That no,
is it
come
really?
On, bruv. Compared to Puma, come on. Like, look, let me tell you now, as a stalwart of Team LH, aka, you know what? In fact, as a well-paid member of Cult LH, let me tell you now, the praying I'm doing, I've got knee pads the way that I'm praying for Mercedes' downfall this year. But I can't deny that those 3 stripes on a German team on black overalls, that's hard. We ain't seen, I actually think they're the hardest overalls I've seen in F1 since Mercedes went all black in 2020. I genuinely think that is like one of the hardest race suits ever. I would buy that.
Behave yourself, Nasha. They're not even selling. They put the bloody trainers on there, the teal trainers, and they're discounted already from $80 to $50.
Mercedes had Mr. Fashion in their team for 7 years, and all we got was freaking divorced dad wear for like 7 years, looking like Steve Carell in that movie with Ryan Gosling. Like, no thanks. So for me, it's a step in the right direction for sure. Like, I honestly, in terms of race, I just had a look at the McLaren one. That one is horrible. Like,
what?
I don't like it. I think Baxter, you're right. You know what it is though?
Thing. Yeah.
The suit don't maketh the man. The man maketh the suit. And I'm just saying, I'm looking at a couple of boys in these suits, and obviously it's not given. So if you know it's good when Kimi Antonelli, who's just passed his driving test, looks good in them 3 stripes. Like, you know, it's for me, Mercedes definitely winning the suit, the race suit war.
The older pair.
That might be all they win this year, to be fair.
Oh my gosh!
Amen.
We'll get to it, Baxter. Yeah. I think Nasha, I think you're having a laugh. You know, I think your Team LH pimp card is revoked. How very dare you say that them bloody Adidas overalls of Mercedes, what better than whatever Lewis had to offer in the red?
Know, but that's standard, isn't it? Like, that's standard. That's like, like if I say to you that Mercedes car looks good, Mercedes is a good looking like road car, and you go, yeah, I go, yeah, and then I'm not saying, it's better than a Ferrari. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Ferrari's always gonna look, especially now they took off. Like, it's less McDonald's, a lot more red, darker red. The only thing I would say is that HP logo in the middle, that is like it looks like Flavor Flav's clock chain, like how like Do you know what I mean? Like in your face, it is this round thing in the middle of someone's chest. Other than that, Ferrari's Ferrari. And also, like I said, the suit don't maketh the man maketh the suit. Look, they got two pretty boys over there in Ferrari wearing the shit out of those overalls. You can't really say the same for the other teams. But look, races aren't won in the photo studio. They're not won at media day and filming days. They're won, from God, when is the first race? Middle of March at some point
March
onwards.
14th or something.
March 14th, there you go. March 14th onwards, 24 races around the world. That's where it's going to be won. So look, this is how we entertain ourselves now. It's how we bring entertainment to the masses by discussing these men in race suits. But really and truly, I know you don't give a fuck. Baxi, I know you don't give a fuck. What we really want to see is these cars on track, and testing's only 2 weeks away now. So we've got that to look forward to for sure.
Mate, I cannot wait to see cars on track properly.
Oh man,
in anger. I'm over the off season now. It's been too long.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, yeah, I'm sure you're the same, Baxter. Like, I think people like us who've been watching F1 for a long time. I think anyone really, in terms of when you get to this stage of the off season, you're really just waiting for testing now. Everything is, the fluff has gone. The drive, you've seen the new drivers in their teams. We've had that fun. We're now, we don't even get launches anymore. I think that's the other thing. Before, we'd have a drip feed of launches every day or every other day. They would, for 2 weeks, you'd have every other day a team would have their own launch. Obviously, now they've got the F1 live event on the 18th. And I think that's almost sucked out. We don't even have Tomo videos redesigning all the fucking liveries anymore. This is what I mean. But it takes away from the creator space as well. That's an extreme example. But the things that we have to talk about and manipulate in the off season are vastly reduced because they're all doing it at the same time next week. So I'm sure we'll get loads of sound bites and stuff. But like you say, I just can't wait to get the cars on track.
Yeah,
it's funny because the off season is getting shorter each year, but then every year it seems to get longer. You're just like, oh, come on.
It's a bit long. Baxty, talk to me. A lot's been said about this F1 75th anniversary thing at the O2 Arena. Some say it's a money grab. Some say it's a brilliant, apropos celebration of all that F1 is in this its 75th year. What do you reckon, Baxty? Would you attend if you were dwelling in London?
I did look at tickets, but I barely got a look in. I was sat in the queue for hours, and then it was just like, and gone. Like, it would have been fun to go to, but it's going to be really cringe because you're just going to be like, we're not seeing any new cars. We're seeing last year's cars with this year's paint job. And then you're going to have some of the drivers who clearly won't want to be there, like, Max and Lance and Fernando and all those guys seem like, oh, it's a car, isn't it? Like, so, I mean, it'll be fine. You'll get some nice moments, and it'll be entertaining for the crowd, and the British boys will definitely feel like they're at home. But other than that, I don't see much. It'll be nice to get a proper introduction to the new guys. Because if you don't watch the junior formula, they'll be unknown to some of the guys. Like Ollie and Liam have a bit of a leg up because they've had races and everything else. But for Gabby Bortoletto, Kimi Antonelli, and I can't remember who else. There's so many. Isaac Kadjar, example. These guys are not known to the wider public, so it'll be a chance for them to really introduce themselves and people can get an idea who they are.
And I think that's an incredible point, Baxley, because what we're looking at, as much as people want to say, I know the traditionalists, they don't like the way that F1 is going. You can't say anything on Twitter without someone accusing you of being a DTS fan. It's like, but I've been watching Formula One for longer than you've been alive. Like, do you know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. I think the way the sport is going, and I think it's a good thing, is about the personalities, is about the drivers, highlighting these drivers, building them up, making them to be gladiatorial even in what they're doing. And I think for me, whilst I don't think I am going to try and get tickets and go, even though, from a content point of view, it'd be cool to go and make content there. I think for me, it's good that F1 is looking to service the fans. And I think for so long, I think I think can you go to testing? I know they closed off testing.
No,
Accredited
yeah,
only.
closed off, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that sucks. I think it was really cool that you used to be able to go to Barcelona and just sit and go to testing. Like that's cool. But I think it's cool that we're giving back to the fans. Like fans have an opportunity. Look, if you can't afford to go to a race, but you want to have that experience of what the fan area would be like in an F1 race, going to the O2, seeing your driver up close, even if it is in a stadium, I think we have this new fan base. Let's service them as much as possible. I love the business side of F1, and I think you can't have this glitz and glamour F1 without the company trying to milk it for all it's worth. So whilst it's not for me, I do respect that this is a sport which, like I said, it will try to sell the shit out or something to you. And look, people clearly want to buy it. So I don't see an issue with it. If they weren't selling out, then I'd have a problem with it. But clearly enough people want to go and do it. So
Here's where we're going to disagree, Nasha. Speaking of selling out, I know you didn't mean it in this sense, but in the euphemistic sense, I feel like for the longest time, F1's been milking its fan base. It's one of these ones where they privatize the profits and socialize the losses. You can come, but stay at arm's length. I was listening to the race, and again, I up until this week, I loved the guys at the race, Scott Mitchell, Marm, Ed Straw, etc., etc. And I was listening to them talking about the podcast where they were talking specifically about the F175 launch. And Scott said something to this effect, that this sort of stuff is the remit of bottom feeder websites. And now I know he didn't cite mine or yours, Nasha, or yours, Baxley, but I never felt like more. This has always been what recoils me from F1. The us and them type thing. You can come if you're prepared to pay anywhere between 5 to 10k for paddock passes. But aside from that, we don't really want you there. The old Bernie Ecclestone mantra, right? Like the 18 to 35. We don't care for them lot because they can't afford tickets. And this is my problem, Nasha, with what you've just said. I think they're trying to engage us, but on their terms only. And that leaves me ever so slightly peeved off yet again at the sport that we've grown up with and loved.
What I would say, look, 100%. I off camera, and I think I've made my feelings on going to an F1 race pretty clear after Austin. Like I was not impressed with what I paid for and what I got. I saw it was $16 for a slice of fucking pizza in Austin.
Mate.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like that is insane. And I saw someone go away with a whole pizza, and I was like, that is insane. Like, do you know what I mean? And they didn't even give you a discount. Anyway, what I would say is F1 isn't immune to global pressures, right? So whilst yes, F1 is more expensive, you've got to look at live entertainment across the globe in every sport, right? In every pinnacle sport, football, NFL, basketball, everything is going up. The price of logistics is going up. I'm not here to defend F1. Look at even the price of concerts at the moment, right? Like it's insane. So I'm not here to defend F1 for sure. I think we were having a conversation off camera about Hungary, and I was like, I love that Hungary is still an affordable place for people to be able to go and watch F1. So I don't disagree. I don't like how F1 has become expensive. And I think two things can be true at the same time. I don't like how F1 has priced out a lot of people from going to a race, but I do appreciate them doing, this is something different. And this is a fan engagement experience that maybe is a bit more affordable, maybe does give people a bit more access. You've got an F1 arcade, you've got the F1 museum. It's more easy to interact with F1 at face value than it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. Now, is it harder to go to a race? 100%. Should it be cheaper? 100%. But I don't think, I'm almost like, what do we want, guys? Like everything, like, I don't know. I love it. I'd love for it to be more cheap, but we know the sport that we grew up watching. And if you're asking F1 to be a socialist enterprise, then you're following the wrong sport. So I'm not mad at a sport that's shown me how greedy and capitalistic it has been from the start. It sucks, but this is the sport that we've fallen in love with, unfortunately. And
Oh.
yeah, I don't know. I can't be too mad at it. Right, this is definitely coming off now. It's boiling.
Let's go. Go on then,
It's
Baxley.
funny.
Go on,
Yeah, it's the
Baxley.
funny the
Sorry.
point that Nasha made. Like you got things like football and the Super Bowl. I mean, the Super Bowl, like that's just an institution now, and you know, millions of people around the world, if watching Kendrick Lamar diss Drake live on air, and then in a halftime show, and then F1 is trying to like put its hand up for attention, and an event like
Yeah,
this will draw eyes to. It's like, oh, F1's doing this big thing where it's never done this before. Everyone launching their car, well, liveries at the same time, and everything else. It's an interesting one, and I feel like it's them trying to get their little spotlight, their little corner, 15 minutes to say, hey, look, we are still here. We're going to have an amazing season this year. And look, Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari, and, Lando Norris is looking cool, and George Russell's here, and, Max Verstappen and everything else. And it's a chance to get everyone sort of ready for the season. Yeah, and I remember the 60th anniversary celebrations in 2010. Like they were just cringe. It was just like, let's just wheel out all the old world champions and they can go drive their cars around the elongated Bahrain track that was absolutely rubbish and nobody liked, and we only ever saw once. And it was just like, if maybe have a little bit of that with a little bit of the glitz and glamour that we're used to now, and I think you could have a good event on your hands, but I'm still kind of like, this is still going to be a little bit cringe, and that might just be the old fan in me talking. So, yeah.
I'm not buying it, Baxley, at all. I can't. No, I won't. I feel like it's one of those ones. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? F1 has been doing this as far as its very unique brand of monetization, as Nash has said, as long as I've been alive, and I just don't. As an example, segueing onto the next topic, like get us closer. Drive to Survive was brilliant in that it got us closer to the drivers proper, not their very shiny PR image of self. Put us with them. I want to hear Gunther dropping F-bombs. I want to see Danny Rick talking honest and earnest. You know what I mean? I want to see this for what it is. So Drive to Survive was brilliant in that sense, and then you get COVID and 2021 and everything, and F1. If it were a stock, does one of these parabolic settings.
Lightning in a bottle.
Chaos. You couldn't even write it, Nasha. You couldn't write it because they wouldn't believe it. It was just too many chaotic things in one. However, then we get Mohammed Ben Sulayem now talking about ban. He's gonna, if he hears the drivers swearing excessively on the third offence, that potentially you could get a one race ban. Like what? Like.
It's not going to happen.
What? Go on then. Talk to me why not, Nasho, and what this means. Because I think do you understand why I've weaved it into this narrative, right?
Well, yeah, 100%. Like, how do I put this? Like, if people can't see that Mohammed Ben Sulayem is...
There is agency in there, isn't there, Nasha?
He is a pantomime villain. Like he's but I don't think he realizes it. I think he's an egotistical dictator, essentially. I think he's one step above who was in charge of the FIA during like the Senate pro? I think he's in that mold. What did he say to Senate? Like I make the rules and I'm always right, or something along those lines, right? Like that's where Mohammed Ben Sulayem is, right? And look, he's got his edicts that he wants, but he knows that he keeps the FIA in prevalency. I don't think we've ever spoken about the FIA more than when Mohammed Ben Sulayem has been in charge, for better or for worse, right? But he's kept them in prevalency. He forced through, against the team's wishes, an extra team, more money to the FIA, and at the end of the day, they all cowered to that. With Andretti, also with Cadillac coming through, and I don't know. I think a lot of this. I just think he's like, we're doing like, WWE. I think he's a heel. And I genuinely, if someone gets a race ban, for swearing, that's box office. I don't give a fuck. Like that is box office. And if it happens, it's a farce and it's bullshit. But it's fucking box office, and he knows that. He's pumping. He's an inside trading on F1. So I can't take consternation about what Mohammed Ben Sulayem does seriously, because like for me, it's the most transparent, one, egotistical boost. He loves being in front of cameras. He loves showing he's in charge and whatever. But two, I think he's doing a fantastic job of keeping the FIA in the papers and in relevancy. And look, some people, not everyone, prescribe to all press is good press, no such thing as bad press, etc., etc. And I think he's from that school. He must, because he knows the feedback he's getting. He's seen the poorly grammatical just put forward letter from the GPDA. I don't know. That's it. Baxter, you're doing a lot of like, I don't know, you're taking it in. Am I chatting shit? I don't know.
No, I hear what you're saying. Like everyone you need to own your story. When I was coming up through music college, that I was told, we're given a bit of advice is find your story and own it. And it does feel like that from MBS. The thing I've always said with him is he's very good at sweating the small stuff and not actually like dealing with the bigger problems at hand. So it's just like really swearing on the radio. Like we're talking about adults here in a work environment, a highly competitive one. There's going to be a little bit, and they're going to be pumped full of adrenaline. Things are going to be said. We know that the driver in the cockpit is very different than the driver outside of the cockpit. Like, you hear Lewis effing and jeffing all the, at times during races. You hear Max and Yuki, and then when you see them out the car, they're completely different. They're not like that. So it's just like this is work, and they're likely to say things in the heat of the moment. We all do it. We're human. It's part of our absolute core. I'm just like, this really isn't that big a deal. Like,
I'd actually argue as well, Baxter. You're so right in that. I'd argue as well that I don't think any sport has a microphone in front of their participants at such like in terms of like before the race, during the race, after the race. It doesn't matter if you've just got twatted off by someone for no reason. You've got to go back. You can't even shower before you've got to have a microphone in front of your face. Like, what do you think of what just happened? And then after that, and you've got to go around 5 different people who are all gonna. It's not like it's just one person, or you can send out a team representative. You've got one person who's got to go around 5 different people asking you the same fucking question after you finish the race. And then you've got to do your own team's PR. I like you say, like F1 drivers. It's amazing they don't swear more. It's amazing that we don't get more quotables from people when they're full of adrenaline, pissed off. Also, honestly, they beep out half of the bad things anyway. It's not like we're hearing it at 3:00 in the afternoon, like someone actually saying the F1. Like it's beeped out. So, like it's a minor thing.
I've got. Go on, sorry, Nasha. Finish.
No, I'm done. So I'm yapping away.
You boys are smoking something different. Let's be honest. This is the point where we get into. No, this is the point when we get to argue. I'm sitting down now. I'm listening to you guys eulogize about MBS.
I'm not eulogizing.
Here's what you. Let me play back because I'm listening and I'm taking notes here. Nasha, a couple of seconds ago, you said. He's good at keeping the FIA relevant. What's this got to do with the price of bread, Nasha? He's there. Correct me if I mistalk here. He's there at the president of the FIA, the regulatory body of $1 billion entity that is Formula One. His remit, therefore, is to safeguard all the participants and the related parties when they're racing at the track. And secondarily, institute for rules in a way that's consistent across all related.
Don't do this. I hate when
Nasha,
you do don't start reading me off a website, bro. No.
Nasha,
read between the lines.
Nasha,
read between the lines. You just said it's $1 billion billion company. F1 and the FIA are in the biggest political war. We couldn't even get 13 teams on the grid. They had to settle at 12. He's already come out and said, I want another one on the grid, right? It's possible for us to get to 13. It's possible for us to get to 12. We've already got 11 teams on the grid, sorry. So, it is politics. He is a politician. And the same way Boris Johnson was a mad, what an idiot. No. But it was all politicking. He got to power. Mohammed, for you, who's this idiot? Why is he focusing on this? He is using things to hold power over F1, over Liberty Media, to show them that he's in charge. Whether I agree with it or not, it's neither here nor there. Whether he should do that is neither here nor there. But if you think that this is just a madman who got voted back in unoppressed, by the way, so unopposed, by the way. So, if you think that this is just the ramblings of a madman, then I don't know. I think you're naive. No, I think you're really naive.
No, Nasha. Let me read out what you just said. I'm going to read out yours and I'm going to read out Baxty's for the avoidance of doubt. Baxty said he's owning his own story. You said that he's keeping the FI relevant. Again, I say to you both, what has this got to do with the price of bread? If indeed we're talking about the regulatory body of Formula One, they can't even eye test bloody Lando Norris and Checo Perez when both of them full start. My son is 5, chaps. He can do that. I wouldn't mind all of the shenanigans around Mohammed Ben Sulayem, the conflict of interest, the sacking the 2 audit members and checking his own homework. That would all fade to black for me, chaps. If he was doing his job, Bill Belichick settings, and he's doing anything but his job, and therein lies my principal point of contention, Baxter.
That was going to be my next point, is that he's sweating the small stuff and doing what he thinks is right, but actually it isn't really the right thing to be doing. If he'd got his house in order and sorted out the inconsistent stewarding and put measures in place to actually allow things to be run competently, then he could go off and do the publicity. It's like he's put the cart before the horse.
But that's the small stuff to you, man. If you want to read quotes, we can all read fucking quotes. Don't piss me off. Mohammed Ben Sulayem, this was in 6th of October 2024, won election over Todd's former deputy Graham Stoker with almost 2/3 of the vote from the body's international membership. Right? Now, this could be a FIFA thing. We saw how my guy, what's his name in FIFA, Blatter used to get re-elected all the time. I'm sure, I don't doubt in the FIA there may be some underhand brown envelopes here and there. Okay. But if he was doing such a bad job, I'm just saying, look, I think he's doing a shit job. Okay? I think he's useless. Let's get that straight right now. But what I wanted to do is open your eyes, sheeple. Okay? I wanted to open your eyes, open your third eye. Okay? The things that are important to the FIA are not the same things that are important to us. Why? Because they're a corrupt organization. Okay? So the job that he's doing is good for the FIA. It may not be good for Formula One. It may not be good for us as viewers, but it's clearly good for the FIA. That's what he's doing. I'm not looking to make excuses or accept the poor job that I think he's done. We've seen all of the people leave the FIA one by one, 2 by 2, like Noah's Ark. But clearly, 6th of October 2024, that article I just read, that was 5 months ago. Clearly, they're okay with what he's doing. Because if it was that bad that they were like, who's this guy who is chatting shit and bringing in all of these useless things, then there would be an uprising. There would be a coup. Cam, open your eyes.
No, bro, they're not okay with it. Go on, I need to address these things in order.
Read me something else.
This is this is mate, this is all off the top of the dome. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like I'm reading it, but no, mate, I can't even read, mate. I'm illiterate. How could I? Let me give you this, Nasha.
Yeah, go on.
I think you address it in terms that aren't apropos. It's not about good or bad. This isn't that. This is about out of scope, chap. Those things that he's doing are completely outside of his remit. Look, you are the regulatory body, right? How are you talking about the commercial value of F1 and saying that the asset value is too high? No, because he's got his mates who are bidding for it. That's why, and that's agency, and that for if you're FOM. If you're the commercial rights holder, cool, that's within your remit. You can talk about the asset value of F1, usually trying to big up its value because it's agency and you're an interested party, not lowball it, but whatever. Again, that's whatever it is. That stuff, though, for Mohammed Ben Sulayem is out of scope. There's Chinese walls in this thing, and that's not for him to talk to. Again, as Baxley just said, if you've got your regulatory house in order, if you've got stewards on a regular basis that are consistent across the board, if you can tell when Checo Perez has jumped the gun and Lando Norris too, if a couple of years back when Lewis is on pole and you announce it and then all of a sudden he's not on pole because you didn't deactivate the thing that shows you that Lando Norris had a track infringement because he didn't gain a position, and then you reinstate Lando Norris and fans are left thinking, what's going on? If you've learned the lessons from 2021 and the chaos that ensued, then cool. But they haven't, Nasha, and then that makes all of this other stuff not cool. They will get rid of him in an instant. Christian Horner and Toto Wolff and Zach Brown. They tried. No, they would get rid of him. He's still there. No, they would get rid of him in an instant. The only problem is the optics. He's got, December this year they re-elect. The problem is, Nasha, the optics are too bad. Getting rid of him now, I mean, you'd wait to December 2025, but in all likelihood, he's going to run unopposed again and go. Honestly, chap, and you know how I know it's chaos, Nasha? Yeah. God forbid 2025 turns out to be the GOATiest season that everybody's saying that it could well be. Could be, yeah. And we have a championship that's close between 2 or 3 or 4 drivers from race 1 to race 24. And we end up in a circumstance where the season finale matters and decides the drivers and or constructors championship. They haven't learnt from the mistakes of Christmas past. That nobody's not going to tell me that those
Do they care?
But Nasha, I care.
They should care. Okay, but I've just said to you, and maybe this is how I think about things. I just said to you, I know the beast that I'm dealing with. If I see a girl on Instagram and she's showing her cheeks 24/7, and I DM that girl and I'm like, I want to be your boyfriend. Once I'm her boyfriend, I can't then tell her to stop showing her cheeks. I can't change her. We, as much as we love F1, cannot change this beast. FIA are corrupt. We know that. F1 a money-grabbing horse. We know that. So for you to sit here and bemoan an FIA president who is not working to the remit, but is instead working to... The FIA is not an NGO. It's not a community interest company, okay? Like, yes, they have got stewards working for free, which is bullshit. Across the world, let alone getting some professional stewards race to race in race control. Like, first and foremost, like, do you know what I mean? He's even come out and said, if they want that, they can pay for that. That shows you his mindset, okay? All I'm saying to you is, I understand, but you're crying over spoilt milk, Cameron. No. I've got too much going on in my life to cry over Mohammed Ben Sulayem being a money-grabbing, attention-seeking whore. I'm sorry. Next topic, bro. Like, what
no, bro. I can't. No, Nasha, I can't trivialize these backs. If I come to you in a second, I need to get this out. I won't trivialize this. This isn't me having on the naivete blinkers and thinking that Santa Claus is going to deliver my Christmas presents down the chimney. It's not that, Nasha. I've said it once before and I'm going to say it again just to clear it up. I don't care what Mohammed Ben Sulayem's doing, right? I don't even care if he wants to... Okay, reinstituting Fernando Plan Alonso might be a bit far because, again, that for me slots nice and neatly into the overstepping your remit box. But like if he wants to kiki with Lando at the Miami Grand Prix and shake hands with Pollock, like that's up to him. I don't care about that stuff, Nasha. I don't care about that stuff on the provision, Bill Belichick, that you are doing your job, and per Sir Baxter, you have your regulatory house in order. All of them other things, I can't begrudge him that stuff if he's got his house in order, and he anything but that. Nasha, all of those are people that is appointed with a view to fix FIA. Shayla and Rao, Whitty, all of these bods, these god tier ones, have since sacked it off. You've got Rui Marquez as the current race director, just been promoted from F2, still sitting atop F2 and F1. Can't even get the logistics. So I could go into private jets. How is he expensing this extortionate spend to the FIA, and in the same sentence talking about transparency and sustainability? When they investigated it, where were the findings? Nowhere to be seen. Dude's talking about conflict of interest, Susie Wolf settings. Whatever happened to that? Well, what's going on with that is currently it's going through French courts at the moment, because Susie Wolf is no joke and she's not having it, and quite rightfully so. Every single time this dude opens his mouth, he brings the sport and the regulatory body into disrepute. We're not rappers. What are you talking about, chap?
Yeah, no, that was a bit mad still.
It's not a bit mad still, just that one time though, Nasha. He's a serial offender across the board, bro. And they need to hold him to account. They desperately want to, but the optics are too bad. My question to you both is, when does it get... are they going to wait till we have another super polemic circumstance in 2025 and the stewards drop the ball, or God forbid somebody gets injured for a regulatory ball drop? When is Baxter? When do they stop this? Because the FIA procures from the FIA. F1 procures a service now, but they're acting Mohammed Ben Sulayem as the president of the regulatory body. Thinks in his own mind, at the very least, that he's the main character. What's the soul for this, Baxter?
Well, if I had it, I'd be in the running to be the next FIA president. But I mean, what we got to remember is that, like, the FIA is more than just Formula One. Like, and I've said this before, is that the FIA has a very unique F1 problem where they seem to be in constant, criticism from the drivers, from the media, from everybody, from the people that lease the rights to have the championship and everything else. You don't hear about FIA problems in WEC. You don't hear about FIA problems in Formula E. You don't hear about FIA problems in Rally Championship. This is a unique Formula One problem. And part of the reason why he got in was because he said he would represent the smaller voices and give more towards the rally, which is where he competed, and to the other series that are maybe more. He wants to promote motorsport as a whole, and that's partly why he was elected in the first place. The sort of establishment candidate was his opponent back in 2021. So. In that regard, I don't actually know the work he's doing on the other side of things, because I don't watch those series. I'm not particularly interested in those series, but
and that's why they don't have a problem.
But the F1 issue is a unique beast, one that I don't think he's handled particularly well. But it's one that if he wants to institute the change that he feels he can, then he should just do it and not go about these things that realistically aren't the problem. He's addressing everything but the problem.
I'm done with this chap. It's just like, what do we do? Every time I see him, I feel like I'm allergic to him somehow through the TV. I'm just like, why are we still here kikiing with the winning driver each and every single time? I cannot. It's too chaotic for me to tolerate at this juncture. And I feel like we're going to see, for now, it's all fine, right? It's minor. It doesn't matter. Of no consequence, some would say. However, if 2025 is the season that we all think and hope it might be, then all of a sudden him dropping the regulatory ball is going to be of some serious material consequence as far as deciding which way the drivers and potentially chap.
No one gives a fuck. It's going to be 2021 happen. No one was like, he's got to go, other than Team LH. So it depends who it happens to, because then maybe there'll be some sympathy for the driver who gets fucked over. But if you're telling me that something that might happen like 2021, do you remember 2021? Yeah, there was man outside of the FIA headquarters protesting. We had everyone from Gareth Bale to fucking Nick Knowles talking on Twitter about how F1 was a fucking bullshit organization. I stand with Lewis Hamilton was a trending hashtag on Twitter for like 2 months straight. The sport was in, I think, the most media disrepute it's been in. I can't even think of the last time I saw as much negative press for F1 as a sport, not for a single driver, not for a team, whatever, but as a sport. I've never seen its reputation. Do you know why? Because hundreds of millions of people around the world tuned in to a once-in-a-generational race. 2 drivers, equal points, starting first and second on the grid. Winner-takes-all title fight. They tuned in, and what did they get? They got some fucking hammed-up bullshit. They fucked it. No one gave a fucking shit.
Well,
no one cares. People care now, but no one's called.
rinsed his hands of it, didn't he? Because he was that was his parting gift.
And they'll do it again. So if you really think, and fair play, maybe if it happens to Verstappen, maybe if it happens to Lando, maybe if it happens to Oscar, George, Kimi, Charles, maybe if that happens to one of them, maybe we'll see a greater press of the FIA and the stewarding from the press. Maybe we'll see a greater effort from the teams who weren't affected to not just turn a blind eye to it and be like, well, not my monkeys, not my circus. Maybe, but knowing what I saw 3 years ago, I don't think it's the cataclysmic event that you prescribe it to be.
No, but Nasha, it hasn't been. This is my problem, chap. I had the opportunity to learn from the lessons of Christmas past, right? Where are we now? You can make the argument that they've gone backwards, that they've regressed as far as their ability to do their job. Nasha, Bill Belichick set an institute for the rules in a way that's consistent across. They've gone backwards.
Everyone's making too much money. You think FIA are fucking corrupt? What do you think? What do you think them fucking 11 teams on the grid are, bro?
Honestly, but even that, Nasha. No, but even that, Nasha. When you look at the, go on then. So why all of it? Because let's break this down as a round third bet. No. Because this is techie.
I'm riling this man up.
This is techie now, Nasha. Go on. Let's look at the facts here. So the 11th team wasn't a thing, right? They'd sacked it off because the teams, not the FIA, Mohammed Ben Sulayem was the president of the FIA, had rubber stamped it, but it needs to be consensus across the board. The teams and team principals also need to rubber stamp it. And they said, hang on, Andretti Global, what, Michael's going to come in and run a team from the United States just like he did his F1 career, and it's going to fail at the altar of poor logistics and commitment. We can't have that. We can't have another like Team Marussia or HRT or it's poor form if it's a revolving door as far as these.
It can't start and they stop.
It's poor form, and I agree. It's elitist, but I see the argument right. And then all of a sudden, Nasha, what happened? Oh, we're pushing through Cadillac F1, and it was quick in its turnaround. The question that I'm asking is why? Well, because of course there's Mohammed Ben Sulayem has as family, cousins, and or brothers, affiliates of Cadillac F1. He's literally in business. He's in business with that bloody team. DOJ, we can talk about Trump coming to power, etc. But there's a reason. I'm not close enough to the circumstance, but as far as Cadillac F1, it can't be there's no room at the F1 Inn on Sunday, and then on Monday, everybody's rubber stamped Cadillac F1. This is chaos, bro. Like, it's just not.
Fault? That's not whose fault is that? That's not Mohammed Ben Sulayem's fault that the teams didn't want to do it.
Mate, why did? Oh, go on then. But this is the problem, Nasha.
They didn't want Andretti, did they? Let's be honest.
So no, Andretti, I understand, because he was stiff arming and
he was being a prick.
He was being. He
was walking up and down the grid.
Yeah.
Chatting shit about everyone to any camera that would fucking listen to him.
Yeah.
He was going around with like a petition of some sort, like making people sign things that like he was being. Let me know.
He was being a douche. He was being a douche, and sometimes in F1, when you're dealing with these god tier power brokers, sometimes you got to get out there and kiss some babies' heads and shake some hands.
Stand for a man walking up and down the grid.
Nor Christian,
don't even fucking
nor
go
Fred,
here.
none of them, chap. But I'll see you that, Nasha, and raise you this. How about high tech? Because but the reason why high tech got rejected was on the grounds of financial resources or lack thereof. You know that high tech took FIA to court and won because they said, "What are you talking about? Financial resources? Nonsense. We showed you what we've got."
Oh, mate, look,
this got thrown out, and that's what I'm saying.
As someone, sorry, Baxter, I'll let you come in, but as someone that was, I can probably say, quite close to the Lucky Sons guys, and like I was kind of given information on their bid, and as much as people may have derided them and whatever, you know, the money was there from them, the infrastructure was ready to go for them from there, and you know, I don't know if they'll mind me saying, but like the discussions they had, they thought went okay. And then it was almost like a rug pull. You know what it was? That whole thing was like a fucking meme coin rug.
Unbelievable.
And they had everyone, you know, they had to pay money to
submit the application.
Just to submit the application.
Yeah.
Let me go back to my last point. What is Mohammed Ben Sulayem doing for the FIA? He is making them shitloads of money. Okay. And I know it sucks. I know it sucks. He is the embodiment of everything that we hate about the sport, where it's we've got a lack of accountability. We've got people in places they shouldn't be because of the connections they have. We have, someone who is taking elements of the sport that we love and making them worse. For example, like you say, like the fucking track limit shit that we have to deal with year on year, the unofficial stewarding, which is ruining racing, the the fact that there's no professional race control, race stewards, ridiculous, right? I get it. I don't respect Mohammed Ben Salem. I don't like Mohammed Ben Salem. I think he is awful. But I guess all I'm trying to say is, like, at some point we have to open our eyes, sheeple, and like he's not going anywhere. And the reason he's not going anywhere is making everyone, whether it's through the brown envelopes or whether it's legitimately, he's making everyone a lot of fucking money. And if we're too fooled by this, I would say, character, this heel WWE pantomime villain character that he's cultivated in the media with all of this, like this pseudo racist bullshit with the jewelry and the fucking and the rapper shit and the and like his like, oh, I'm just so wholesome. I want to be so wholesome. Let's get rid of swearing. If you're too drawn in by that, what do I always say to you about comedy that I like about comedy, Cam? Sleight of hand. Yeah, he is sleight of handing everyone. What we're looking at him here, we're looking at this shit, and you're right. No one's talking about the other fucking shit because all we're talking about is swearing. No one's talking about the other shit that he's not doing correctly. And I just want you guys to fucking realize that. Let's talk about the other shit. Let's drum up that shit. I couldn't care less about the swearing shit because it's a distraction. Fair. Open your eyes, sheeple. I love talking with real F1 man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it gets me going, man.
It's a lot. I'd say the only thing I'd say, you've kind of just you've nailed my closing stanza there, Nash. Like, I just don't want in 2021, right, when it was madness, when it was inconsistency and a lack of robust processes. Long before Abu Dhabi, I was I was like, okay, so
Imola onwards.
Imola.
I mean, even Bahrain, you could argue like the confusion over track limits.
Even Abu Dhabi before the ultimate, it was. So all I'm saying, I'm not going to be. I want to be the canary in the mine when it happens finally again and decides a championship or proper controversy that brings the whole sport as an entity and endeavour into disrepute. I don't want to hear anything from anybody then because I've been the canary in the mine for the longest time since 2022 talking about this as a potential eventuality. That's all that I'll say.
Chickens would have come home to roost, essentially.
There we go. Oh, there we go. So I'm not going to talk about Mohammed bin Salman. Yeah, like he's a good heel and he's doing it.
I
No,
mean,
no, he's not. I don't care about the making money for FIA and Formula One. That's not his remit.
it's
So
not. Well, it is, but it's
not well. Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
Go
Let's
on.
move on. Baxi's like these man are just arguing about.
Go on then.
Get this guy out of it.
As we round third base, let me pitch this at you, Sir Baxter, in the first instance. So Lewis Hamilton's just spent 2 weeks doing the rounds as far as his tenure in the red overalls with the yellow badge and the black prancing horse atop. Have Ferrari got it right? Not just as far as Lewis's ability to deliver in that car in 2025, but as the symbiosis of the marketing behemoths that is brand Hamilton and Scuderia Ferrari.
Nailed it. I mean, they nailed it. I mean, that picture of him in the Godfather style suit and the jacket hanging off the shoulders in front of Enzo's house, instant iconic image of the sport. Like the minute it dropped, it just destroyed the internet. Yeah, you had Ben Stiller, resharing it and going, "Oh my God, this is unbelievable!" Like, I said this before, and it's just an amazing image, and the way that they built up to it as well, with the little teases here and there, it just incredible. It's perfect the way they did it, and Ferrari, I think, were always kind of okay-ish with their comms and their social media output, but this is like everything just gone up a level for them, and it was absolutely incredible the way that they opened. I mean, they didn't quite open up the shakedown like they did in 23 when they launched the car.
Yeah,
You could still have people taking videos over Fiorano, and you can see Lewis driving the car, and he went out to see the fans and engage with them, and he got an understanding of what Ferrari truly means to the people of Maranello and to the people of Italy. And yeah, they've done a perfect job so far, like in terms of the way that they're managing the off-track stuff. But the real business is the on-track, and that's when all the talking has to stop, and we have to see how he gets on in that Ferrari. I'm not buying all of these stories that he's more comfortable in the Ferrari than he was in the Mercedes. Like, I've been down this road too many times. I want to see him on track in testing. I want to see him on track in Australia in the first race, and then we can talk. Then when we have actual raw data to analyze and we see times on a timesheet and a timing tower, then we can talk. But right now, it's perfectly done. But the real hard work starts now.
Go on, Nasha, talk to me. How did you ingest Sir Lewis's first couple of weeks at Scuderia?
Honestly, when you go, back in the day, you used to go Chinese buffet. And he used to just like, it used to be like £7. You'd load your fucking plate. You go there, you got the fucking chow mein, egg fried rice, salt and pepper wings, black bean sauce, all of them things there. I swear to God, you just sit at your table like bloated. I was so full from some of that content, and they just kept, like kept just giving you stuff, and like it was honestly a little bit overwhelming because it was more than I had ever expected it to be. Like, I knew it was going to be great. I knew it was going to look incredible. But like, I think Baxley nailed it. They fucking aced that balance between celebratory but reserved and inclusive but also quite exclusive as well. And I think they, my friend Athena kind of said it quite well, like, they've met Lewis at his moment perfectly. And I think that's how I felt. As I remember when these rumors first came out last year, and I literally remember tweeting like, this is bullshit. Like, this is never gonna happen. You guys are like, stop believing every fucking rumor you hear about Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. And then it happened. And I never thought I would feel as much excitement as the day they announced it. But this week, or those couple of weeks when he first got there, and like the build up, the grainy images, and then seeing him in the race suit, and then seeing him in the car, and like all the teases, it was great. I'm really excited. I think I will just disagree with Baxley on, honestly, like anything's got to be better than what he was driving last year, especially towards the end of last year. Like I wouldn't be surprised. I think it'd be more. I think it'd be even more comfortable in a fucking Red Bull soapbox race fucking vehicle than it would be in a than in the W compared to whatever it is W14. So 14. So yeah, like 15. I can't remember. I hate
15,
all of
15.
them.
No,
So
no, rubbish.
like
Lost.
so I think for me, all I would say is I'm looking forward to seeing Lewis consistently able to be top six and kind of growing into that car. That's my minimum expectation is I think that I'm just from where it was before, and you might say these are small expectations, this should be standard, but from where it was before and seeing how some drivers have not quite adapted to new teams with these new era of cars, I would say that I would be really happy with him being, if the Ferrari, if Leclerc's able to battle for pole, I want to see Lewis be able to battle for pole. If the Ferrari is able to battle for wins, I want to see Lewis battle for wins. And I want to see that, Ferrari might be inconsistent, but they're nowhere near what Mercedes were the last few years. Even George, you can say what you want about George beating him or whatever, but neither car was last year, neither driver was really like consistently battling for pole, consistently battling for podiums. And I think that's where you want to see Lewis. And I think he's got a car that's able to do that. And I'm just excited to see that again. I'm excited to, not be watching a driver that's trying to come through the field, sometimes even struggling to do that, which is what it was towards the end of last year.
Fair cop.
Yeah,
Fair
that's
cop.
that's where I am.
May I, Nasha,
Yeah, of
play
course you
devil's
will.
advocate?
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
May I pour some water on your
Yeah,
copium
yeah,
flames for a second?
Yeah, sure.
So mate, as much as I loved all the hullabaloo and hyperbole that was, I mean, it's ridiculous, right? A rising F1 tide floats all boats.
You should be fucking grateful for that shit.
1,000%, even though Lewis Hamilton fans don't watch my videos anymore. But whatever, that's by the by. Like you make a rod for your own back sometimes, right?
Yeah,
It's a very unique brand of truth value and objectivity. But whatever.
That's your cross to bear, and you fucking hiked that thing up the hill, bro.
I digress. It is what it is, Nasha.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But look, as I'm watching that, I was reminded of me and my pugilism mates used to watch HBO 24/7, right? When it was Floyd
series.
Oh my gosh, Baxty. When it was Floyd.
As in the boxing.
Yeah. When it was
mate. Yeah,
right, so when it was Floyd. And every
Yeah,
time there was a Mayweather weekend, they'd put on HBO 24/7 and they'd make us believe that this dude, a fire-breathing dragon of a pugilist in Floyd Mayweather, was beatable. The best example of that was bloody the Ricky Hatton thing. Ricky Hatton was never going to beat Floyd Mayweather, right?
No, because that's
But the strength of the marketing and the goated filmmaking that was 24/7, showing Ricky on the pads at the end, we were like, oh my gosh, Floyd's going to lose.
because they just show Floyd go fucking chain shopping and going by the car and
the marketing, Nasha, therefore, would make you believe. And as I'm watching Sir Lewis, right, in the pinstripe and the Godfather and the pathetic fallacy of the 7 windows that are open and the 8th door that's closed and the Ferrari flag that's hanging over it, and then you get to see him meeting with the team and they look like they're looking at the second coming, and then you can literally see Lewis's halo. Nasha, I feel like I'm watching 24/7. I feel like the marketing is making me disbelieve the evidence of my own eyes and ears, chap, because it's difficult. Not to say that Lewis, Mr. Unprecedented, can't go and win the hallowed 8th. That's not what I'm saying, chap. Count out Lewis at your peril. I'm saying I don't know if it's as likely an outcome as the marketing chaos and all the hype is making me believe. When you see Lewis in the pinstripe, Marlon Brando settings, Michael Corlett, well, of course Lewis has to win. Of course he's going to go win the 8th. If he's got a car that's fast and it's Ferrari, it's too perfect not for it to happen. And I'm by dint of 24/7's magic and trickery,
Baxter,
I'm recoiling from it.
I'll let you, because I want to formulate what I want to say.
No, I get what Cam's saying, but and I know it's devil's advocate, but the big point that you've missed it, Cam. It's like we can look back at last season and go, right, okay, let's look at the cars. Yeah, and okay, like the Mercedes was so hot and cold, like, on a cold Sunday eve or Saturday night in Vegas, he could take it from 10th to second and sort of breeze past everybody, whereas in Qatar, he's kind of trundling along, kind of wondering, looking like he doesn't know his arse from his elbow. Whereas the Ferrari was a much more consistent platform, was very close to winning the Constructors' Championship, and basically, had it not had that summer slump, probably would have won the Constructors' Championship. So we know he's already stepping into a better car. Now, whether Ferrari have made a suitable enough step forward, we won't know until testing in the first race in Australia. I have my reservations, given that Fred Vasseur said that 99% of the car is different, and I'm a bit like, oh no, McLaren 2013 screaming in my head. But you hope that they have the knowledge to work their way around those problems that could arise from doing an almost totally new concept. So there's that data to kind of work on and think about and be like, yeah, actually, okay, there's more to it than we think, that Lewis is going to be more consistent this year. Will he win a championship? That's a big call, because McLaren were very fast at the end of last year. Red Bull, count them out at your peril. But they're going to be there or thereabouts. They'll be in the conversation, certainly. But that's the thing. We've got, the marketing is good, but we also have the data to have that sense of confidence. Of course, this is Ferrari. You never know what's going to happen with Ferrari. They could turn up with an absolute tractor and he's back where he was with Mercedes, and Mercedes somehow make a jump forward and ahead of them again. That's the swings and roundabouts of Formula One.
Oof. Nasha, talk to me. Before I intro you in there, do you remember when I said about the HBO 24 set? That was all right, weren't it, that analogy? Did you
It's good. I like that. I like that a lot. I might try. Are they on YouTube? I might try and go back and see if I can.
You can hardly get them. Not bad.
But I need to try and find. I might have torrents.
Oh my gosh!
I have to torrent that shit.
Go on, talk to me, Nasha.
Look. This is Lewis Hamilton we're fucking talking about right now. So you're not gonna get. Look. Apologies to Carlos Sainz Sr. I didn't mean to put your son next to Lewis Hamilton, and did I tell you followed me after that tweet?
Sainz Senior. Behave.
Yeah, you followed quick stop. And you know what, a man, doesn't even have to say anything. I stopped straight away. I said, you know what, fine. I'm sorry, Side Senior. I won't disrespect your son again.
That is big.
But I saw that and I was like, oh God, we're in trouble. I'm not saying anything else. But I say that to say, the reason I put the picture of Carlos Sainz at his first day at Williams and Lewis Hamilton at his first day at Ferrari, and I said a tale of two photos, right? Sainz in front of a derelict building, pretty much Williams' front door, and Lewis in front of Enzo Ferrari's house with the symbolism, with the pinstripe designer, Ferrari F40, F50, whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the two pictures couldn't be more different. Then they're always going to be different, because this is Ferrari and this is Lewis Hamilton. This is a once in a fucking generation move. We've seen Alonso go there, we've seen Vettel go there. It's nowhere near Lewis Hamilton. And you can say that's because of his higher standing outside of the car than it is compared to what his performances are in the car. Fine. But the star of Lewis Hamilton going to the biggest team on the grid, culturally, financially, historically, whatever, you're going to get, and I'm so happy they didn't fudge it, because they could have fucked this. Like, they could have made it like tacky, they could have made it corny, they could have had him trying different types of vegan pasta, for fuck's sake. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but they didn't, right? They did it correctly. Does that have a correlation with what we'll see on the track? No, like Baxley said, we need to see him in a car. With anyone who takes even the snippets of, oh, he's so much more comfortable in the car, I'm sure that's all part of the PR and marketing as well, because at the same time we can say he's crashed out on it as well. If we're going to take everything literally at face value, then he's crashed out, he's going to be fucking shite, right? So for me, all I'm saying is, for sure, I think if you're going to have reservations, don't have reservations because Ferrari did an incredible job marketing Lewis Hamilton, who is the most marketable, I would say, genuinely, like, how many more marketable athletes are there than Lewis Hamilton right now? Like, in the fucking world.
on one hand,
I was just
probably.
about to say the same.
Yeah.
Like, one hand, on one hand, but I'm saying market. I'm not saying
Yeah.
greatest. I'm saying marketable. I mean, like Messi's fucking great, but like
LeBron.
LeBron, I'd still put Beckham in there for fuck's sake. Like, do you know what I mean? But I'm saying, like, in terms of marketability. So for me, don't be someone who looks at that side of things and then equates it to car. We're all fucking students of the game here. We're all very much about let's see him in the car. If you've got reservations, maybe that's from last season, right? Fair. I don't believe. I think there was various reasons that I can point out to why the performance wasn't there last year. Let's focus on that. Don't be someone who says they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes, or the wool is being pulled over our eyes because this guy is being marketed at the appropriate level. Lewis Hamilton's supposed to have HBO 24/7 level marketing. Ferrari are supposed to have HBO level 24/7 marketing. That should be standard fucking procedure. Every fucking team on the grid should have HBO 24/7 marketing. They're slacking. And if you're going to charge me hundreds of pounds to go to a race, and if you're going to charge me hundreds of pounds to buy your shitty divorced dad merch, then you can bloody well invest in your media team and you can give me HBO 24/7 marketing. Please. That should be standard procedure. And it's not. And that's what's a piss take, is that Mercedes for 7 years never produced anything like we saw for Lewis Hamilton. And in the first, this is what I'm saying, it was almost overwhelming going from gruel, please sir, can I have some more, to what Ferrari were feeding us in February, end of January. And I honestly, like, that makes me excited. If that doesn't make you excited to watch F1, to watch testing, to see if it's a mirage, to see if he's finished. But let me tell you now, they're going to be doing the glorious of glory runs in testing. Let me tell you now.
Oh yeah.
I reckon they're going to be low fueling that motherfucker to hell.
Why would they not, chap? There is share price in that.
Oh, no. Look, I think if there's ever a time a team is going to do a glory run or two or whatever, I think Ferrari are going to do that for sure.
With Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, with Charles. Yeah. I think you're going to have Team NH like, oh, they're favouring his teammate. So yeah. But man, 2 weeks time, I'm counting down the days. I was even considering taking annual leave, you know, like
I potentially might do, you know.
Honestly, I'm genuinely considering taking annual leave because I don't want to be distracted by it. I just want to sit on my sofa 3 hours at a time. I want to luxuriate in it. I want to bubble bath, rinse, flour, fucking soap bomb that ting, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? Petals in the bath, rubber ducky.
I don't hate it. It's chaos. And I'm not bombshell, Nasha. Sir Baxty. I'm going to close the call. You guys have both been legends, man. I enjoyed the Nasha. We need to do this more often, chap, the back and forth. I had a couple of bullets for you, but you were dodging them like Neo in the Matrix.
Look,
you know what I mean?
Look, what I'm telling you, Neo, is when you realise you won't have to dodge bullets, bro. When you're the one who's going to have to dodge bullets. Do you know what I mean?
When he's ready. When he's ready, he won't have to dodge them. Look, you guys have been legends. Thank you so much for watching. If you are listening on the podcasting platform, 5 stars. If you're watching on the YouTubes, like, share and comment, por favor. That on the far right of your screen has been Nasha of Quick Stop F1. Find him at the YouTube channel of the same name. In the middle, you've got Sir Baxty of Baxty B F1. You guys have been legends. Between now and next time, as always, remember to look but never stare.